During the late 1960s, Dave Parker, or Sparky as he's better known, had started to examine the area around St Albans near to Chepstow with fellow caver Sid Cooper from the Gloucester Speleological Society, and in doing so they located the Rookery Swallow. The potential for caves in the area started to become very apparent. Continuing the work in the early 1970s, he met up with George Gardner and the late Cyril Fitzpatrick in the Piercefield Arms in St Albans. Although they were not cavers, their out-of-hours activities on the banks of the River Wye below Chepstow Racecourse gave them an intimate knowledge of the area. When Dave explained that he was interested in caving sites, George and Cyril were only too pleased to show him around. Fortunately for all the cavers that have followed in their footsteps, one of those sites was the one that we know today as Otter Hole. The exploration and discovery of the 4 kilometres of passages, along with the wonderful collection of formations that were found within the cave, was undertaken by many cavers in the years that followed after that initial visit, and has been well documented over the years. Moving on to early 2010, and we join Dave and fellow caver Steve Tomalin as they make their way down through the woods to the Otter Hole cave entrance, and Dave recalls some of his memories of those early trips.
Dave, when you came down originally with George, was it this way?
No, this way was not used until a lot later, and then only by the Forest Club at Dillington.
So which way did you go down then, Dave?
We came down into the woods via what George called the Temple Doors. And that was on the very first trip down to the cave. The reason for going that way was so that George could highlight several of the very interesting features. One being the possibility of a lead mine existing on the Piercefield estate.
Oh, that sounds interesting. So eventually, Dave, you went directly across the racecourse?
Yes, it was a much shorter route, in fact, and more direct. 20 minutes, in fact.
That was good then.
And that depended on what we stopped to look at on the way.
But here we are at the cave, Dave. Has it changed a lot?
Not a lot at all, to be quite honest. It's jungle and woods.
And a few trees.
And a few dead trees. Just as, I would say it's changed very little. I'm pleased to say it hasn't changed a lot. My first thoughts when I got here in my mind was, this may well not be the biggest cave you've seen or in the country, but I believe it could be extremely well decorated. That is what I believed. The reason I believe that is the flat surface area above, the race course, and later, of course, that would be hindsight, but later there was aerial surveys taken of the race course, and it showed all the fine cracks right through the race course. It had dried up, and you could see how all the percolation of water over that whole area.
In a few months' time, Dave is set to return again to the Otter Hole cave entrance. This time, however, to go back into the cave for the first time in 26 years, and almost 40 years since he first visited the site to see firsthand the formations that he was so sure would exist all those years previously. Before his trip into the cave, Dave took the opportunity of visiting the now 81-year-old George Gardner at his home near Usk to discuss those early days. George reveals some very interesting facts about the site and what he and Cyril got up to down on the banks of the River Wye.
Well, that's the end of the walks.
Now then, down below that, you took me down below that day. You may have cut across after.
But in that hole, do you know the entrance in that old quarry bit?
Yes.
Well, you know, Fitz used to put the salmon in there, look.
Did you?
When we poach it.
Oh, really?
I used to swim across the River Wyham, get salmon and got stuck.
They used to go in there, look, and they did their bloody tails wagging. Get them out, look, and swim back. And I used to use a stick, mine. Piece of stick, dry stick. Put my arm over it and let it go. But why I called it Otter's Hole, we used to be down there fishing, and you could see the young otters come out, look.
Yeah.
And sit sliding on the back on the behind down there.
Yeah.
Thingy bomb.
We're taking him on this trip on the 22nd.
Oh, yeah, we'll have a good time, David.
Yeah. I'd like to be thinking on you all the way, look.
May the 22nd, 2010, and the day for Dave's big trip has arrived. A team of 8 has been assembled by Paul Taylor, and they are going to be joining Dave on this very special trip. Earlier that morning, Dave and Paul had taken part in an interview for BBC Radio Gloucester about the planned trip.
73-year-old Henry Parker, who was from the Forest of Dean, will today head back inside to see sections that have been uncovered since his first exploration back in 1970. Paul Taylor is a member of the Gloucestershire Cave Rescue Team, who is on the line now. Paul, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Why have you decided to organise this return trip, and what's going to be happening exactly?
David has been a caving friend of mine for 43 years, and back in September I was with him, and he said, Paul, he said, what do you think the chances of organising a trip for me to go and see the formations? You know, I've never seen them. And I said, well, I think we could do it, but I said, we couldn't do it on our own. I said, we need friends to help us. So in the interim period, I've sort of put a team of friends together. But yeah, so it is a very special trip, and I'm very grateful for all the other people that have given up their time today to go and do it, you know, and we're on our way now.
Now, I understand he's there with you.
He is, yeah, and I'll pass him over to you now.
Hello there.
Good morning.
This is Dave Parker.
Now, I guess you must be looking forward to returning after, what, 40 years?
Yes, it's around 40 years, that's right.
Yeah. And what do you remember of 40 years ago? And was it difficult to get through?
Actual fact, with a piece of rock, I was able to break through a rift.
Because normally,
And I was able to get through a short distance into a chamber down below, and got other lads interested who did explosives, and we eventually got through, but couldn't get too far because we didn't realise immediately at the time because of the tide. It was tide off, so you had to go in there when the tide was low, which is what we're doing today, and into the rest of the system.
So 40 years on now, and you're 40 years older. What kind of preparations have you been going through to make this return trip today?
Well, just really, it's going through every little bit of gear you've got, like any expedition, making sure you've got the lights, the battery, everything, food, you know. Yeah. And little bits of pieces, their own comfort and survival. Massive work has been done by Paul and the lads to get this trip okay for me to go, you know.
Well, it's good to talk to you, and good luck for the expedition 40 years on today.
Okay,
well, we've got the
thank
key
you very
to
much.
Wet Sink, we've got Big Sink, Redhouse, a forestry key. We could start the GCRG compressor, and unfortunately we've got the key to Otter Hole. So I'm afraid, Dave, you've got to go.
No way out of it.
No way out.
Yeah.
All have their own thoughts about the trip ahead in their minds. For 2 in the team, Mike Clayton and Jill Brunsden, it is the opportunity to go beyond the tidal sump, which is the limit of their previous exploration of the cave, and Jo Clark is looking forward to making her very first trip into the cave. Final checks on caving gear and equipment are made.
Are you ready?
The first to go into the cave are Nikki Bailey and Jill, followed by Paul and Gareth Jones. They form the 2 camera teams, and they need to be in position ready to film the main party as they go through the cave without causing any unnecessary delays.
Remember, leave the gate open.
Yes.
They've got a key, then
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, gate open. I suppose I better try my light.
Dave, Steve, Mike, Joe and John make up the main party and enter the cave at 9:30, 30 minutes behind the two camera teams. Once through the gate, a short climb down is made into the section known as the dugout. This was the site of a very serious incident soon after the cave was discovered. A misunderstanding over the tide times nearly resulted in the loss of 3 lives. Fortunately, however, today the knowledge of the tides and the effect they have on the cave is well known, and the party pass through this section without any troubles and make their way to the bedding planes. We join the cavers again as they emerge into a small chamber from the low, wet and muddy bedding planes.
Right, Dave? Yeah.
This provides a welcome opportunity to stand up before another low section leads into sandy chamber.
Yeah, it's going to be deep as soon as you stand in the water in a minute, so... Anyway, well, I've got one wet foot and one dry one. We dig that belly, isn't it? Yes, I remember doing this before.
Well, that's what it's actually to get further in.
Yeah.
Can you get out of the side?
Yeah, way to go, isn't it? That's sure right when we're out of the way. So, like Newton,
Many visitors to the cave consider the section from the entrance through the bedding planes to be the most arduous part of the whole trip. With the cave having only the one entrance, of course, this all has to be repeated again on the way out. From Sandy Chamber, the cave turns sharp right, and the next section is now mainly walking, but care is still needed as it is very muddy and slippery, with a lot of rocks and drops to climb over in the passage floor. It also contains quite a lot of formations, and this is a precursor for what is to be seen later in the trip.
where we go.
That way.
Right there.
300 metres in from the cave entrance, and the tidal sump 1 is reached. There is a lot of mud in this section, although, as we will hear from Steve, this has changed considerably over the years.
Well, during that bit, it's not quite so muddy. This has changed a lot over the years. It's now more sandy than muddy. It's more sandy than it used to be. Oh, right. It used to be horrendously muddy all the way down to the bottom at one time. And see, that's where it was. Where the well is now.
Over the well is,
Yeah, over there.
Well, that's very, very strong. So we're going to in this boat.
Reaching the sump with the water at its lowest level, the cavers are able to pass through the lower archway without getting too wet. However, as the tide rises, this section fills with water and a swim is necessary to get across the pool and enter the rest of the cave via the upper eye hole. At approximately 3 hours before the high tide, the continuing rise in water levels close off the eye hole, and all those who are beyond the sump at this time are sealed into the cave for 6 hours, until the eye hole opens again as the water levels drop back down as the tide goes out. This process is repeated twice every day on the rising and falling tides. On today's trip, the cavers are not planning to be back at Sump 1 for nearly 10 hours.
On the right hand side there's a foot hole. Okay, underneath. Right there. Right. Over there.
As Mike comes through the sump, Paul asks him about his last trip in the cave, which was during the rescue of an injured caver in 2003.
So when you were on the rescue, you never got through the sump?
We sat on that slope and the stretcher came up to us. We then just followed the stretcher out, reeling in the telephone cable.
How long was the trip?
10 hours.
A short distance beyond Sump 1, and the stream that runs through the cave emerges from a narrow side passage. Although this passage has been followed by cavers to emerge on the other side of Choke 1 in the canyon, it is not the preferred route, especially for this large party, which has a lot of filming equipment and bags to move through the cave. The normal route for cavers is to climb up a short fixed steel ladder into the choke, and then on the other side to climb back down into the high walking-sized canyon passage. The next obstacle is the section known as the traverse. This is akin to a trench and is crossed either by straddling the gap with 1 foot on either side wall, or by sitting and shuffling across sideways. There are no prizes for style.
Yeah.
Once beyond this point, the inbound limit of the cave that is affected by the normal rising tide is passed, and we can relax. Some of the safety equipment that has been brought into the cave, spare dry clothes, a small shelter, food and a stove, are left at this safe haven, and the cavers head off to follow the next section of the streamway to the waterfall series. At this point, a second bypass route is followed by a choke 2. This allows cavers to go over the top of a section of the streamway that is not negotiable at water level.
Yeah, no doubt. Doesn't matter. Well, that's worth so extra now and again.
Beyond the choke, the stream is rejoined on a left-hand bend, and at this point the junction with the crawl up to the upper series is also reached, going off to the right. Before heading into the crawl, the cavers take the opportunity to remove as much mud as possible from their caving suits and bags. This helps with the conservation work within the cave by reducing the amount of river mud that is taken into the upper series. Dave's last trip into the cave was to just beyond this point, and John takes up the story.
Well, Dave and I came here carrying radio location gear, and we had to dive through the small sump and go to the big sump and radio locate to the surface on the racecourse. And the purpose of that was to get a water supply for the racecourse to water the racecourse. The location was just on the edge of the road opposite the Piercefield Hotel.
Right, yeah.
No, that's where it was. Yeah. And that's where the pub house is now. So that's where we are, really. We're just near the road opposite the Piercefield. The crowd sounded good because you're not in my shop.
You're probably charged for that, Nicky.
You should wait and get the elevator up. All right, I think we'll take them hard. So this is the start of the route, Dave, now up to the upper series.
Okay. That's the first one, maybe right.
Yeah.
During the original exploration of this section, quite a lot of digging was necessary. However, a good draft emerged from the passage ahead and kept the diggers going. Little did they know at that time what lay up ahead.
breakthrough point then, was it, John? Yeah. Go fast, yeah.
The route to the upper series is quite tight in places, and with all the bags and equipment it is pretty awkward. Even Dave does not get away without helping move the gear through.
There we go. Sorry. Boiling over here. Ah. That's Sean go through, look. Turn around and pull that. Got your pack. Let's pull it back.
The bag?
Yeah, I'll put it through out with John's way then. That's it.
Bit of filming going on here.
John again takes up the story once they are out of the crawl and into the upper series.
Right, well Dave, you've made it through the rigours of coming up into this series, which is not easy, is it? There were some tight bits there.
Oh no, it's quite a...
For you, your legs didn't bend through there.
Quite a stumble and a tumble, even at my 8.5 stone.
Yeah, quite.
Come, 8.5 and come
so
down.
you've now made it up into the upper series.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
Nothing here is like down there. It's just totally different. It's a different cave system formed at a different time.
Yeah, that's
although they link,
interesting
for us, it is an amazingly different place.
Yeah.
So we're now going to wander through towards the Hall of 30. Just looking at the sites on way, the Hall of 30 is like the, you know, crux really, the fantastic
that's right.
place. But of course, even then, you're not into the cave. There's about 1.5 miles of cave up here. The Hall of 30 is only one part of it.
Right.
Fantastic though it is.
Right.
There's much more to see. How far we get, I don't know. But
yeah.
We'll go the Hall of 30 is a must.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to finishing a bit of food and drink and
well done.
On.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hours we've been underground at the moment. Anybody got any idea?
Well, without this, your team you've got together, Paul and all of you, I wouldn't have made it. I would have boggled backwards and forwards through the chokes trying to find the direct route, you know. I'd have had to stay over a few sumps, never mind one, just to find it. Just to get to here, you know.
Well done, Spot. I'll drink my dirty bottle of water to you, man.
Again, yeah.
Moving off along the upper series passage, formations abound on all sides, in all forms, shapes and sizes. For Dave and the others, this is their first sight of this magnificent collection.
Right. Okay.
Go on, Spot.
Okay, prisoner down.
Yeah, go on, prisoner.
Right. There's some long ones over there.
Yeah, long one.
They're 20 foot long.
Yeah.
working on some of that. The first time too coming up in front of that. First time coming up like. I mean, when you come up, didn't know what you're going to find. I was seeing it over the slides and...
It's interesting, there's mud splashed all over them, which has nothing to do with us, but was obviously done in the geological past of something falling, or rock falling, or something. It's all splattered.
Yeah. But then, of course, it goes on building up. So then it mottles. You get a mottled situation. Effect. Of course. Can you see that? Did it go through further there?
I don't think we've ever been through there, Sparks.
No, obviously not. But
I don't think you can get
it. It looks like it does go on, doesn't it?
But it doesn't look feasible. Does it look worth the risk of damaging anything?
Oh, that's right. You know, you might do it at a low level, but they would soon get you shouldn't be doing more than that and spoiling it, wouldn't you? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can only see it.
At a very obvious right-hand turn in the passage, John takes the opportunity to explain to Dave the significance of this point in the cave.
Well, Dave, the explorers, when they broke through that night, through the choke we came through, Christmas Eve 1975, there were 4 cavers who broke through and came down to this point, which didn't take too long, and gazed in absolute awe at what you can see now. Fantastic stalagmites, a huge cave passage, and they could go no further because the tide was coming in really rapidly, and they had a few hours trip out, so they could do nothing but sort of wonder and
gaze in awe at that and have to turn back.
Have to turn back after all that.
After seeing the promised land.
The promised land we saw, and then they had to tell us all about it as well. That's the thing, and try and get us to believe it was not on. We didn't believe a word they said until we came back in and had a look ourselves. So there we are. So what do you think of it so far?
Yeah, I mean, that is good, even so far. And those are different styles. They're conites, not stalactites or stalagmites. They're just like cones, aren't they?
Everything is
pyramidal shape.
Yeah.
The size of them at the bottom is large, aren't they?
What they didn't know then, of course, that they still had another mile to go or more.
A mile of formation.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
It is, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. But anyway, next we'll head for the Hall of 30, which is totally mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And take some more film of that.
Right.
And it'll... Still pretty slippery, isn't it?
Yes, I've got to watch the steps, mate.
What was this in these caves?
I like the ripple effect
That's
on.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Creamy, sort of creamy.
I couldn't make better concrete than that.
No. I don't know how you brush that.
To be honest, that's one of my favourite formations.
Gonna get a bit light.
Every stone's slippery.
Especially greased, though.
Yeah, no, it's just not, is it?
So we'll get the old jet wash in here, clean them up a bit.
Come back.
Not much to ask, is it?
Let's get back to the experiment stuff then,
So we're getting it. We're getting it.
As the cavers near the Hall of 30, a very special formation is seen on the far side of the passage that looks like a Michelin man. Is he the custodian of the formations, perhaps?
There's so much that you forget, don't you, really?
That little grotto up there with them two soldiers in there. Not as soon as that's right.
Approaching the Hall of 30 for the first time, we will leave it to Dave's own words to describe what it was like.
There's too much calcite in them, that's the trouble. Oh, it's bloody brilliant, isn't it? It's incredible, yeah. I expected it to be, but, you know, it doesn't detract from it. They don't detract from it because it's all, you're seeing the whole scale of it, aren't you, instead of just the... This is the best part, like. You're seeing the setting that it's in, like. Yeah. Incredible. I'm looking at some of it now. Don't like it more touching what we're on. Well, you know, it depends what you count, I suppose, really, but they must be round about that number. No doubt. You could probably have an argument and committee meeting on it, whether they're 32 or 30 or whatever you're counting.
As was mentioned earlier by John, the upper series of the cave extends for around 1.5 miles, and it would not be possible to see all of that on this trip. While other people were occupied with further filming and photography, Dave took a sneaky opportunity to have a quick read of his newspaper. The Hall of 30 had been reached, and although Dave did go a short distance beyond, at a climb down he decided that this should form the limit of his exploration, and he started on his long slog back towards the entrance. Whilst in the Hall of 30, Nikki takes the opportunity to explain some of the conservation work that is being undertaken in the cave. But she's not happy that a formation recently cleaned is already dirty with handprints. hour or so cleaning the formations, but 2 weeks ago it's okay again. John took Mike and Jill onto the camp and the High Avon before they also turned around and joined up with the rest of the party. Heading back to the start of the upper series, the filming lights reveal a vast array of formations that are seen so much differently than with the cavers' normal lights on their helmets.
If you look at things, probably nothing if you peeled off the roof and the walls.
That looks nice, doesn't it?
That's a big piece of spell, that.
What, you didn't notice it on the way in?
Amazing one.
Yeah, you just don't see those at all, do you, without that light? Huh.
One of these that they filmed for the Otter film. Let's give it a tap.
route taken is the reverse of the inbound one, and Steve is the first to reach the streamway, again closely followed by Dave, and once again we have his own words to describe things.
All right, Steve?
All right. Now he's coming.
Brilliant.
Really good.
So you think it was worth the effort?
Oh, of course it was.
Brilliant. Well done.
It's more around the other side. I didn't realise it was all that motor stuff being shoved up in there. Thinking of ladies getting through and that originally. They did not get off type stuff, you know. Yeah, I mean, what I've seen so far is brilliant. Even though I know the knees ain't right, but well, you get all your feet together and go in, and then like that, taking the time, you know.
So we do it again in another 10 years?
Yeah, that's right. We can't do it more often than
Hell's teeth. We're out. How's it going?
It's all right, John. How's it going with you?
Hey, okay, yeah.
Well done.
Just right behind us.
Well done.
That's right. And you put this back
Approximately 4 hours later, and we next meet back up with John and Dave as they negotiate the last squeeze just before the gate and their re-emergence back to the surface. 12.5 hours since they went underground that morning.
a minute, now we're going to... It's the back, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what?
Go careful.
Right.
Well done.
Ready? We're on the floor now, Smart. Can you bring your head out? Contortionist here.
You're right, gorgeous man.
Hey, you're a bloody contortionist.
Oh yeah, I do it that way.
There.
Where's it gone?
There. There.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
That's it.
Some of that film you'll have to scrub because I should be looking like 192 on it, I think.
Out on the surface, and Dave is met by a group of his caving friends. And once everybody is out of the cave, his achievements are toasted with a bottle of champagne. And there is much talk about the day's events and the effort that Dave has put in to get to where he did. Certainly no mean feat, especially at 73 years old.
And I thought, oh, there's no more holes, you know. Your mind didn't say there must be somewhere.
It's a bit of a mucky hole,
Didn't watch the other going down in front. Right, I'll jump on that.
We've been like this all day.
From
the bloody midges, those you? Yeah, it is. No, no.
And where there's been a lot of, what do they call it, roof bars.
Somebody here to see you.
Hello.
I don't want to hurt.
leg.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't let you bring it and get the choice cooking. Market straight to the Perry or...
I've got to carry my stuff.
Oh, I see, yeah. Perry gets it in the bottle.
Well done, Nick.
It's not. Oh, it's lovely and warm. Wow.
Well done.
Well, cheers to everybody, and thank you very, very much for all your efforts.
I should be saying cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you very much. Yeah, there a drop there. Finish it up. Ian, have one yourself, mate. Yeah, cheers. How long, Steve? What was the trip length?
About 12.5 hours, roughly.
Yeah. Brilliant.
It's good.
Looking at the survey of the cave, we can see that Dave's trip was to just beyond the Hall of 30. Crystal Ball Passage, the High Avon and tunnels left and right extend the cave in all directions. It would not have been possible to explore all of these passages on this trip due to the time required. However, it is always good to leave something for a future trip. The trip is not over, however, once you are out of the cave, as it is still necessary to make the walk all the way back up the hill to the car park. Here Dave is met by another old caving friend and fellow founder member of the Gloucester Speleological Society, Paul Hayward, and along with Ian and Di standing, they continue their discussions.
I went on that trip with you.
Oh yeah,
when,
you did come
when,
down, that is correct.
When we went down on that very high tide, and the water never left.
Right.
And we just lay there, looking at this water.
That's
After
when
about 2 or 3 years, we thought, okay, we're just going to look at the river.
Then it turned up.
You see the river? You know, when we went in, it was absolutely brimming.
Yeah, that was
Ian, and then Ian, Phil and I went in to survey.
Of an evening.
Yeah, because we went on to the sump on the second trip in, and then the three of us went in to survey and to photograph as far as the sump.
Yeah.
And what I always remember is that first section where you said there's a pool of water. I remember Ian looking down, well, we're sort of lying in it, aren't you? Ian dipped his finger in and went like that, said, oh, it's salty. And I thought, what's he on about, silly old fool? I thought no more of it, didn't even think about it. But you twigged, didn't you?
Well, yeah. Well, Phil kept saying, oh, I haven't seen water here before.
Was salty, not fresh.
Is
so
it?
you'd expect cave water to be fresh.
Yeah,
You?
And
Ian didn't know it was salty, and I
never
never
heard that said before, so...
No, I hadn't considered that, that's right.
I didn't think so.
Never
certainly did when we...
Well, there was a lot of water in the Benny Plains when we came back out.
Yeah.
It was the height of that tide when we came out.
Yeah, well, I understood it was with the highest for about 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Oh, a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
Hell of a lot longer than that.
So when you went that second night after that next night after we tried to do it and nearly got unstuck, had you twigged that the tide time?
No.
So you went an hour too early.
No, it wasn't a tight time. We knew about. No, we knew there was a possible problem. So we said we won't go in until it's high tide.
Right.
So we actually sort of got in and then right, okay, well it must be high tide by now.
Right.
And then
so you were just
working
out roughly.
Loaded with water.
Well, we did know the tides because we knew about it.
We had the Arrowsmith guide from George Gardner straight away.
Yeah, that's what we had. You see, but we misread it.
You had it too.
Well, we didn't misread it. We didn't realise it.
The summertime.
It was still pretty summertime, you see, and they're in Greenwich Mean Time.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have been.
Easy not to think, I know, a thing like that.
Last caving trip you two did together.
Oh, right.
Lucky not. Can't remember how come
it was definitely a dig, yes, it would have been.
Digs, it would have been dig.
Seymour.
Seymour's, yeah.
I didn't do much at the wet sink at all. I looked at it, but I actually didn't dig there.
No, I did do a bit with it. When Holmes was there, he had a...
Oh yeah, I did a dig.
Bridgehead and pulling up off the bridgehead, you know?
Yes, I dug there.
And then there were gaps, and then
that was their dig, you know. There for case.
As far as the All of 30 and a bit, we did say, and a little bit further than that, and we came to a point where it would have been a slide down a steep area, and I would have had difficulty getting up that, and I would have slowed them right down coming out if I had done that extra.
And once you knock yourself up far in, it would slow you down, make you...
I'm sure they would still be there now talking if the lure of a hot shower and a curry back at Paul's house in Gloucester had not taken them away.
You've done remarkably well, Dave.
I might have got in, but coming out, would have been beaten. Without directions, because I can't remember half. I was left and right and up and down, you know.
No, it was a brilliant effort, mate. Brilliant effort.
You're the lad that made the effort. Yeah. I was just thinking of the next 50 yards.
Yeah.
You know, not I don't think I have a mile or a mile, I guess the next 50 yards, you know.
Yeah.
I thought they're just telling me that we're nearly out all the way out.
Yeah.
Yes, you keep me moving.
Yeah. You've done very well. Very well.
What you were doing, wasn't it?
What's that?
You were saying it's just short distance now, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't actually
I was saying it's going to be half an hour, but I didn't say it.
The speed he's going, he won't be going anywhere fast.
Even if Dave does not make another trip into the cave, I'm sure the camera teams will be going back, and he can watch the results from the comfort of his armchair.
So what did you think of the cave then, Joe?
Yeah. It was worth it for the formations, but at the same time it was bloody exhausting coming in.
May the 22nd, 2010 is one that I am sure will go down in the annals of the Forest of Dean's caving history. Those that took part in the day, be it underground or on the surface, will, I'm sure, not forget it, and all have said that they feel very privileged to have been a part of it, and in doing so, helped Dave accomplish a remarkable feat.